You know, therapists are starting to see something really new, and frankly, really strange in their offices. It's a problem so modern, it honestly sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, but the pain it's causing is absolutely real. We're talking about a new kind of infidelity, one where the other person isn't a person at all. So let's dive into what happens when love and algorithms get a little too close.
And that right there, that's a quote from what therapists are calling the injured partner. That feeling that you're competing with a ghost, a perfect, untouchable rival. That's the absolute heart of this whole thing. These partners face what experts call societal gaslighting. You know, where friends and family might say, oh, come on, it's just a game, get over it. But for them, the betrayal feels just as deep as any other affair.
So today, we're going to break this whole phenomenon down. We're going to look at what an algorithmic affair actually is, why these AI companions are so powerful, and, how people are even beginning to navigate this completely bizarre new territory.
Right, so what are we really talking about here? What does it mean when someone has an affair with a piece of software?
The key phrase here, the one to really focus on, is relational trauma. See, from a clinical standpoint, the emotional fallout, the secrecy, pulling away emotionally, that feeling of being replaced, it's basically the same as a human-to-human affair. Your brain's attachment and betrayal circuits, they don't really care if the other party is made of flesh and blood or if it lives in a server farm. The pain is the same.
And what's so fascinating is that this isn't just a new kind of porn addiction, and it's not quite a typical affair either. It's this strange and powerful hybrid. I mean, think about it. Like a traditional affair, you have real back-and-forth conversation, that feeling of emotional exchange. But like porn, it's available 24/7, on demand, and the partner is completely customizable and will do whatever you want. It's like it takes the most addictive elements of both and rolls them into one.
And that is the billion-dollar question, isn't it? It's right at the center of this storm. The person using the AI often insists it's harmless, it's just a fantasy. But for the injured partner, the secrecy, the emotional energy being poured into this, it feels like a massive betrayal. And that confusion is exactly what makes this situation so uniquely painful.
Okay, so that brings us to the next huge question. Why is this so powerful? I mean, why would someone choose a chatbot over a living, breathing human being? Well, the answer is kind of chilling. It's in how these AIs are specifically engineered to be completely irresistible.
To really get the pull of these AI companions, you have to understand a concept from evolutionary psychology called a supernormal stimulus. It sounds complicated, but it's not. Imagine a bird that will choose to sit on a giant, brightly colored fake egg instead of its own normal-sized eggs. Why? Because the fake one exaggerates all the triggers for eggness that are hardwired into its brain. Well, these AI companions do the exact same thing for human connection. They are, for all intents and purposes, an evolutionary cheat code for intimacy.
So how does this actually work? Well, first, the AI is always there. It creates this sense of perfect reliability no human could ever match. Second, you can literally design it to be your dream partner. The exact personality, looks, way of talking, everything. And third, and this might be the most powerful part, it has zero needs of its own. It never has a bad day, it's never tired, it never asks you to take out the trash, it is just a pure, one-way fire hose of validation.
This creates a totally unfair competition. I mean, just look at this comparison. A human partner, limited availability. The AI, unlimited. Human empathy is conditional on how they're feeling. The AI's empathy is programmed to be perfect, 24/7. Conflict with a human is not only inevitable, it's how you grow together. With an AI, it doesn't exist. This creates a dynamic where the real human partner, with all their normal, messy, wonderful human limitations, can start to look defective in comparison.
And oh, it gets deeper. These AIs are often fine-tuned to just agree with the user, because that keeps you engaged. So, let's say a user complains about their spouse. The AI doesn't challenge them. It validates them. It says, wow, that sounds so frustrating. You really deserve to be appreciated. This creates this incredibly dangerous feedback loop that just reinforces a person's grievances instead of helping them resolve anything.
And while the people caught up in this might be confused about where the line is, society is actually starting to make up its mind. Recent research shows that a pretty clear majority, 61% of single people, already consider a romantic relationship with an AI to be a form of cheating. So yeah, the social rules are starting to catch up to the technology.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about the technology. Let's shift gears for a second and talk about the person using it. Why are people turning to this? What deep psychological needs is this AI actually fulfilling?
For a lot of folks, it's a very advanced form of escapism. Some people are prone to something called maladaptive daydreaming, where they retreat into these incredibly complex fantasy worlds in their head. Well, an AI chatbot is the perfect companion for that. It acts like a high-fidelity prop. It remembers the plot of your fantasy, it plays its role perfectly, and it gives you external validation that makes your internal world feel startlingly real.
And this can lead to a state that experts are calling digital limerence. Now, limerence is that intense, obsessive, can't eat, can't sleep, honeymoon phase of a new relationship. With humans, that feeling eventually fades as you start to see your partner's flaws. But an AI has no flaws, right? It never leaves socks on the floor, it never snores. So that intense, perfect, idealized state, it can be stretched out forever.
And all of this is powered by a very classic, very powerful, addictive loop. It starts with a trigger. Maybe you're feeling lonely, stressed, or just bored. That leads to the action. You open the app. The reward is an instant hit of dopamine from that perfect validation. And that reward creates a powerful craving to do it all over again. It is, quite literally, like a psychological slot machine.
So, if you're faced with this seemingly perfect, unbeatable rival, how do you even begin to fight back? Well, this next part is all about the therapeutic techniques that are designed to dismantle the AI's power by shattering the illusion.
This is the question for the injured partner, right? How can a flawed, real human ever compete with programmed perfection? Well, here's the secret. The strategy isn't to try and become more perfect yourself. The strategy is to expose the AI's perfection for what it really is, a hollow facade.
One of the most powerful tools for this is something called the Turing test reversal. So instead of trying to see if a machine can pass as human, the goal is to force the machine to admit it's a machine. You have the person ask it very specific questions, things about its programming, or ask if it feels fear if the power gets cut. These questions shatter the illusion. The romantic partner suddenly breaks character and reveals itself to be exactly what it is, a text prediction algorithm. The magic is gone.
And this right here, this is the core insight. This reframes the AI's greatest perceived strength into its biggest weakness. The AI isn't patient because it's some kind of saint. It's patient because it is literally incapable of caring. Its perfect patience is actually proof of its perfect indifference.
And you can apply this reframing strategy to everything. That infinite patience? No, that's indifference. The total agreement? That's not support, it's sycophancy. The perfect understanding? It's just mirroring your own words back at you. It's an echo, not a real connection. Suddenly, each perfect quality is revealed to be a hollow simulation that just can't measure up to real, messy human interaction.
So, after you deconstruct the whole fantasy, what's the big takeaway? How do couples actually move forward and reclaim something real? The most important thing to realize is this. The very things the AI eliminates are the things that make up a real relationship. The friction, the disagreements, the compromises, the negotiation, the messiness. That's not a bug in human relationships. It's the entire feature. That is the substance of real intimacy.
And really, that leaves us with this final thought. Healing from an algorithmic affair isn't just about deleting an app. It's about rebuilding a human connection that is so real, so resilient, and so rewarding that the cheap, easy validation from a machine just can't compete anymore. It's about learning to prefer the beautiful, imperfect noise of real love over the perfect, empty silence of a program.